Welcome, everyone. So, quick story. Yesterday, I flew into town, and the Amazon 4-star store is about 10 minutes away. So, I walked down there to check it out, and I come across normal New York City playground. Kids, fences to the side, kids running around. And something caught the corner of my eye. A couple of chickens on the playground. I was thinking it was like Key West all over again. So, I stopped there for a minute. I look at the chickens, and the one who's in charge, full sprint across the playground. You know what he was doing? Trying to get to the other side. Hey! All right. Yeah. I make enemies everywhere I go. All right, let's talk customer session and keeping it going. Real quick, just please don't trade any Oracle stock based on anything I say today or in the future. You'll be in good shape. So, real story, not a dad joke. I buy stuff online all the time. I don't like going to stores, and when I buy things online, many times the next day I get a promotional message from that retailer. Sometimes I get 2 messages the next day. Sometimes I get 3. Happened to anyone? Ever? Yeah, a lot of heads nodding. How does that make you feel? It's not a good experience, is it? It makes you feel as a commodity, not as a person, or as my 6-year-old would say, not as a human. So, hang on. Technical difficulty. All right, we'll go here. It presumes a customer journey model just like this. Right, very simplified. Based on this model, everyone should have loyal customers all over again. Does anyone actually think this model is accurate? No, I mean, I've spent the last 7 years developing my own model, and I'm going to release it today. It looks like this. There is no sense of customer journey model. You can do your best to optimize certain things and use analytics and machine learning, all these things to simplify this as best possible, but we are fragmented. Cell phones, I'm not going to use my phone for the next 20 minutes. Right? There's outside influencers, there's marketing influencers, there's retargeting, browser abandonment, there are personal things, people being bullied in school, deaths in the family. These things all impact things that you can't see in a customer journey. So if we look at that experience from before and say, well, I buy something online, next day I get a promotional message, it kind of stinks at that point, right? So we do all these things to get someone to come back and be a loyal customer, but what happens if they don't come back? What happens if they have no reason to come back, right? So might I buy again from that company that sent me a promotional message? Sure. Do I have any sense of loyalty to it? Is there anything that encourages me to come back? Not really, right? It's kind of happenstance, and then we hope all these other things come back here. But this is often where customer makes a purchase, and then they don't purchase again, and you get your traditional win-back campaigns come, right? Usually a deep discount, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it might be. There's a national retailer based in New York City here. And recently, they mentioned their average customer purchases 1.7 times a year. Now, if you think about that, 1.7, their average customer doesn't buy 2 times a year. Do they get a win-back campaign? You can't win someone back that you haven't won. That's the thing. Yeah, maybe. I told you. You cannot win these people back, right? It's the nature of the business. You've got to wait until they become more than average to win them back, because then they're purchasing more than everyone else, and then for some reason they lapse or they churn. And the trick is to slow the churn down, figure out why they've lapsed, and move that 1.7 to 2, so then you can start filtering and get the 2 to up. So there are probably people in this room that their average customer purchases 3.2, right? The goal is always to round up at these things. And this is where post-purchase messaging is so important, right? It's not going to solve the issues, it's going to help the issues and nurture customers and avoid the promotional message the next day. I could give you 20 bullet points why you should do this. It's all about trying to explain to the customer, this is why you should be more loyal. This is why you should purchase more. This is why you should come back and try us again. It doesn't matter. It's all about nurturing, being customer obsessed. So I want to do 2 things now. I want to walk through some specific examples of post-purchase messaging, just so you can get some visuals about how it can be used. And then I want to talk about some very simplistic segmentation strategies. I say simplistic, I'm not doing the work. So segmentation strategies, not to target your post-purchase customers, but to figure out how you want to set up your post-purchase campaigns and what your customers are, how they're impacting your current promotional messages, just to get a better sense of what you're doing here. So if we jump into actual examples, just to show you, here is a non-all-inclusive list of types of post-purchase messages. There's no way you're going to do all these. It doesn't make sense to do all these. You might pick 2, 3, 4, whatever it might be. But it's all designed to nurture the customer and be a little more obsessed with the actual customer there. There's going to be nuances to each of these. They all relate in some fashion to where the customer is in your life cycle. And this is a very common thing. Does anyone have a separate welcome message sending to customers who either don't uncheck the box or sign up when they're actually making their first purchase with you? Do they get a standard welcome message that you would normally send? Most retailers, from I find, is if I'm signing up at point of purchase, I get a normal welcome message. A lot of times that has an incentive in there. Well, that experience sucks too, because you're incentivizing me because I just made a purchase, and you're also asking me to shop now, a minute after I shopped. So this is a very simplistic thing in just saying, hey, we recognize the fact you're a customer. Thanks for your purchase. Check out something else on our site. It's just a simple way to treat the customer at the point in their life cycle they are. Would you rather get a promotional message the next day or a message that just says thank you? I think most people would like the thank you message. There's 3 examples. There's different ways you can do it. There's no right or wrong one. The one on the left just says thanks. The one in the middle says, hey, while you wait for your products, check out our Instagram. They're planting the seed for how to engage with the brand. So when you do get your products, hopefully you can create some UGC with them. And the one to the right, customer service focused. Hey, if you have any questions, give us a call. We'll bold a phone number. By the way, here's some product recommendations for something else while you're engaged. It's a nice way to say thank you, and these messages convert like gangbusters. Yep. Helpfulness. I love product care messages. It shows value. Not only did you buy something from us, you bought something of value. We want it to last for you. The one on the left here, full disclosure, that's actually not a post-purchase message, but that's a really good message. That would fit perfectly in a post-purchase series. If you have any sort of upsells, it's an easy way to subtly suggest to buy something. Lingerie wash bag, soap, whatever, detergents, whatever it could be. If you're selling luggage, do you have sprays and cleaners and things like that? It's all about showing how you can care for something. And yes, you can be sales focused. So if you want a discount, think about the thank you message we saw that just said thanks. These are saying thanks, let's buy something, right? There's different strategies. You can obviously just incentivize a couple days after purchase, send one of these things. You can send the non-incentivized one. If they purchase again, send them this one. You can send them this one. If they purchase off this, send them a non-incentivized one. It's really all about your incentive strategy, but it's an easy way to still provide the discount, especially if you offer a discount for signing up for your emails, and the customer did not get that because you have a different welcome message. Here's your ability to send that same discount so they don't feel cheated. These are also a great way to test discounts. So if you want to use some crazy average order value or just test something a little atypical to see if people will convert off it, it's a good way to do so here. You're going to get people who have already purchased from you, and then if those things go well, think about your holiday planning for the year. And then find ways to continue engagement with customers. So create user-generated content, solicit it from people. So share with us, get the most of your workout, check out our YouTube page and take your workout videos to the next level and things like this. It's all about providing them something to do, but treating them like a human. And product reviews. Does anyone in the room never review products? I see a couple hands. I'm one of them. I don't say never, but I will almost never review a product. You know what I will do? I'll share pictures socially. I'll share things with friends. I'll provide recommendations. But I don't review products. It doesn't appeal to me. I have no reason to do it. So product review, the one thing, you certainly want to brand these messages, but try to provide people who maybe don't want to review messages to get something of value out of these messages as well. So it could be raffles. It could just be, hey, show us your flair, tag us in something, and let's roll. So try to make them more effective for you if you can. Transactionals. So when people think about post-purchase messages, they normally think about, hey, we got transactional messages and we got a product review message. I'm good. Make the transactionals, optimize them, put some product recommendations in there, but most importantly, customer service and branding. Focus on your branding. Focus on put customer service loud and proud on there, because if they do have a challenge with their order and have something like that, chances are I'm one of them. I will go to the order confirmation email as opposed to the website to get contact info. So make it easy for them. And then finally, reward customers. So we just talked about it a second ago, but early access to deals. Or think about that win-back campaign with the customer experience again. 1.7. If I purchase one time, you're not trying to win me back. You're trying to do something else with it. So what can you do? Well, is a first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, whatever it might be. If that campaign's going at 3 months, test out things like order reminder series. Hey, Greg, this is your first purchase with us, 4 weeks ago. We just want to check in to see how things are going. It's better than an NPS because chances are, if they didn't complain to you and you didn't rectify this situation, they might not come back, they might come back. But if there was a small issue, which is the reason they didn't come back, a lot of times that email will nudge them to say, hey, you know what? I will send you an email and I'll let you know what the problem was. It's your chance to save that customer and hopefully turn them into a loyal customer or a more loyal customer. So there are a lot of things you can do as opposed to just using data to say, hey, we need to win back a customer. We want to nurture the customer along. And if they want to lapse and they want to churn, that's fine. We can still aggregate this with a bunch of other things. And segmentation strategies now. So we've seen some visuals about what it could look like. Now, what do we do from a work standpoint? Well, I'm going to overly simplify this because there are tools like Castora that will process data a lot quicker than I can process data, or you can process data. So it's great. I'm going to overly simplify this, but think about how you can take this back and approach it with your own emails. If this is like any other conference in the world, you're going to have 10 to-dos at the end of you're going to go back to your office, and next year you're going to come back and you're going to have 2 things done. Happen to anyone? Ever? Yeah. Resources, time, life, job changes, whatever it might be. There's a lot of reasons, so I need to motivate you. Remember, input equals output. All right, so here's what we can do. Nothing. Go home. All right, create some simple segments. And this is really just looking at number of orders. The 1, 2, 3, 4 is just high level, right? You could be 1, 2, it could be 12, whatever it might be. Look at your lifetime. Look at the trailing 12 months, because I don't care that you bought from me 10 times before. If you haven't bought in the last 5 years, it's worthless for me. And then I just want to get a sense of what your email list looked like from a purchase standpoint. You're not going to use that percentage of emails. If you know you're working with 80% of your list has never bought from you, great. If 1% has bought more than once, now you know how to start looking at it. So look at your trailing 12 months, and then you can split this a little bit further. Maybe. We'll break it down by purchasers, right? So 1-time purchaser, 2-time purchaser, 3-time purchaser, and break it down further based on recency of purchase. So your first month, again, high level, but it's every week. First week, second week, third week, fourth week, and then I just did a simple 1 month, 2 months, and then 4 to 12, 12 plus. You could do this as many or as few times as you want, but it gives you a sense about, again, where your email list is making up, but more so, how to start aggregating data from this. So take your promotional message that you're going to send tomorrow anyways and start sending it to these segments. Because what you might find is that, yes, we got a 60% open rate for our standard promotional messages to people that bought in the last week. Well, if the click rate's 1% and the conversion rate's 0.01%, what good is that doing you? It just means the customers are engaged with you, they're engaged with your email, but they don't really care. They're not doing anything because they just bought something. So that slide that didn't show up the first time, it was a translation of what that experience was, right? It was like, hey, thanks for your money, buy some more crap. Well, this is what it does. You need to figure out a little bit about what your customers are responding to at that point. And what that will ultimately do is help you figure out where your churn is coming from recently, right? Higher unsubscribes. But it gives you this general time frame for your post-purchase series. Hey, we know people are repeating their purchase at 2 weeks, but they're not really doing much before that. Well, use that 2 weeks as a time to lay out a couple post-purchase messages. We can engage you a little bit higher here. We can do this here. If you find out it's going a month, it gives you more time to start putting different messages in or testing different concepts from a promotional standpoint. So there's a lot you can do here. Again, it's very high level. You can use, obviously, all the data that Castora has given you, third parties, loyalty programs, use that along with it. But this is to get a baseline to figure out, hey, when can we start planning our series? What messages might be more impactful for those customers at that point in time? And you can start doing it. So again, I don't have to do the work, which is great for me. I'm just going to tell you guys to do it, and then you guys can, wheel it. But apply it to your business. What makes most sense for you, right? Do you have a $2,000 price point? Well, you probably don't need, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus. But how to make it work? Now, it's not going to solve this. I mentioned this before. This journey is not going to be solved. There's so many fragmented areas and there's so many distractions. But the goal is, as you optimize messages, you optimize your welcome series, you optimize your browse abandonment, your cart abandonment, all these little things that get optimized. The goal is to reduce some of those lines. you're still never going to figure out the customer journey. It's impossible. It's going to change. Tool is going to change. Everything's going to change. We want to try to streamline things as best we can. So these messages do convert, as I mentioned. Here are 3 examples. A simple thank you message that goes off to people. A 3-part series, 1 completely incentivized, 1 non-incentivized. Significant revenue on very few email sends, just because it treats people as a human, not as a commodity. So, got to motivate you. So I use a motivational poster to motivate you, because that's what I do. The thing to think about is when you start having these planning meetings, if you haven't had them yet, you're going to meet with your marketing director, or maybe you are the marketing director, and you're going to meet with the person under you, and say, hey, next year we need to raise our email revenues 5%. We need to increase repeat purchases. We need to decrease churn or lapse purchases. And you have Castora. You have these programs in place already, but you still need to optimize the things you're doing. The answer cannot be, well, we send more emails. It's not a long-term strategy. It's not going to get you what you need. You need to have a more practical approach to execute things. Doesn't mean you need a 12-message, post-purchase series, but you need to optimize one thing at a time. And if you can send one message that increases your email revenue 1%, that's pretty good, right? 1% growth. Couple messages, 3 messages, 5% growth. And as long as you're not cannibalizing yourself, you're in good shape. So thanks, everyone.